staying put, John Howard to remain in power to fight the next election. And Peter Costello grins and bears it. Bombing outrage, the deaths of more than 60 civilians brings new demands for a Middle East ceasefire. Cowardly attack, the hunt for a man who burnt a Sydney toddler's face with a cigarette.
He was crying, he was rubbing his eyes, he was very distressed.
And an Anzac tribute, the Hyde Park Memorial, to be completed at last.
National 9 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. Leadership tensions in the Federal Liberal Party have been buried until after next year's election. John Howard notified Liberal MPs this morning that he would stay on as Prime Minister, and Peter Costello has agreed to continue as his Deputy and Treasurer. Here's our political editor Laurie Oakes, who revealed Mr Howard's decision exclusively on the Today Show this morning. In the news ahead, a treatment for a painful type of arthritis. And Jewish groups call for Mel Gibson to be blacklisted. There was an unusual accident at Kingswood near Penrith this afternoon. A teenage boy was knocked off his bike and suffered concussion, but complicating things was the fact that the driver of the car was going into labour. 9 months pregnant, she started having contractions. Both are now in Nepean Hospital. The sale of newly built homes in Sydney has slowed dramatically, another sign of how higher interest rates and expensive petrol are hurting families. Last month, just over 7,600 new dwellings were sold, a big fall of 10.5%. That's a 17-month low. And things are about to get worse, with the Reserve Bank expected to announce another rate increase on Wednesday. In medical news, a breakthrough treatment is bringing relief to sufferers of an extremely painful type of arthritis which affects the skin. Ken, with sport next, and the Eels receive some very bad news today.
Fui Moi Moi faces a very long time on the sidelines. Also, we catch up with the kid who was too quick for the Broncos. And is George Gregan looking for a holiday? Parramatta's Fui Moi Moi is facing at least 7 weeks on the sidelines for his reckless high tackle on Manly prop Brent Kite. But a player with a far brighter future is the West Tigers schoolboy sensation Chris Lawrence, who will be picked in first grade again this weekend against the Melbourne Storm. Will somebody please give Mark Webber a decent car, and the V8s will no longer be a part of the Australian Formula One weekend.
OK, less muscle in Melbourne.
Indeed it will be.
Thanks, Ken. After the break, the ComSec Finance Report, then all the weather details.
Tonight, how food poisoning ruined a wedding. We look at the risks of eating out. Plus, Mad Mel, the calls for him to be banned from Hollywood after his drunken tirade against Jews.
In finance, Coles Myer says it will now be called the Coles Group after selling the department stores earlier this year. It will also phase out major brands such as Kmart, Bilo and Theo's, instead operating under the one Coles brand. On the markets, its shares fell. Coca-Cola rose after buying Palm Springs Water. The All Ords up 24 points. Our dollar is worth 76.66 US cents. It was hard to have the Monday blues on a mostly picture postcard day here in Sydney, a top of 18 degrees in the city, slightly warmer in Penrith and Richmond. Right now in the city, it's 13 degrees. A cold front is delivering strong wind and rain to Tasmania and Victoria, but dumping welcome snow on the ski fields. That high in the Bight is keeping the rest of the country mostly dry. Taking an aerial view for tomorrow, in Melbourne should start with a few showers and clear later on. Cloudy in Adelaide, showers in Perth, and Brisbane mostly fine, a top of 22. Sydney will get some cloud cover tomorrow but remain mostly fine, 17 in the city, the same at Liverpool and Parramatta. And looking ahead, and the sunshine is about to end with the cloud increasing on Wednesday with some showers expected after that. And that's National 9 News for this Monday. I'm Mark Ferguson. Good night.